Today we're taking a look at the Fractal Pop 2 Air, a mid-tower case focused on airflow and simplicity. It uses a full mesh front and ventilated top panel, comes with 320mm fans pre-installed and includes a GPU air guide designed to improve graphics card cooling. Support covers motherboards ranging from ATX down to mini ITX, large air coolers, long GPUs and up to 360mm radiators. In this review we'll be checking out build quality, layout and thermal performance to see how it stacks up. So this is the Fractal Pop 2 Air. It's available in black or white colour schemes. You don't get those bold colours that you used to get with the original Pop, but you can pick it up in several different configurations. So there's the RGB version with the mesh front and tempered glass with 3 RGB fans. In the black version you can get solid side panel, non-RGB fans. There's another version what has a tempered glass side panel in black, and as I say, in black or white you can get this Pop 2 Air with RGB, mesh and tempered glass. All of these are available from Scan. The black with solid side is $79.99. The black with tempered glass side also $79.99. Then the black or white with mesh front, tempered glass and RGB fans, that's $89.99, and all of these are available at Scan. Pop 2 Air features a fine cubic pattern mesh front and a ventilated top panel with 3 included Aspect 12X RGB fans. It supports graphics cards up to 416mm long, CPU coolers up to 170mm tall, top mounted radiators up to 360mm, and it's equipped with a front air guide to direct airflow specifically towards the graphics card area to help improve GPU cooling. It is quite a compact ATX mid-tower, similar size to some micro ATX cases, with dimensions of 481mm long by 215mm wide by 462mm tall. Panel removal is pretty simple, so this tempered glass side, couple of thumb screws on that and then slide it backwards and it releases pretty easy. The thumb screws are captive in the side panel, and you'll notice in this white version the tempered glass is clear. Right hand side panel comes off much in the same way, a couple of thumb screws, loosen those off, slide the panel backwards and then it just slides out. As you can see, it is a plain steel side panel. There's no sound dampening material and no vents cut out for side fans because you can't install any side fans. Rigidity, not bad. Got a bit of flex in this side panel, but most do at this price point. The front mesh panel is also removable. Pull it from the bottom and it just pops off, and you can see that that is mostly made out of plastic. The frame and the clips that hold it in place are made out of plastic. The actual mesh is steel. It's got like this cubic shape to it, gives it a bit of a unique look to the front panel. You can see there's only the steel mesh that is a dust filter. There's no additional dust filter behind that, so only one layer of filtration should be better for airflow. At the top there's also a removable dust filter. It is the perforated steel type and it holds to the case magnetically. They've got these magnetic strips, but unlike a lot that are really flexible and made out of really thin steel, this is quite rigid, and when you pop it in place it fits nicely into the cutout that's up there. So I'd say that's a bit better than the top dust filter, or at least those really floppy flexible ones that you get at this price. There's no other real removable parts except for the drive bay. The air guide at the front, this is quite interesting. There's a large cutout on the power supply shroud, and then there's an air scoop that directs air, or should direct air, to the graphics card area. If you want to remove that, if you want to change the fans or anything, there is just a single screw in that and then just pops out. Easy to take that out and put it back in place, so that will help if you want to change fans. In terms of cooling support, so included with all of the different versions of the case, you do get 320mm Fractal Aspect 12X fans. They're not PWM control though, they are voltage control, so 3-pin connections installed at the front of the case. It's worth noting that there's only 120mm fan mounts at the front. There's no mounting points there for radiators or 140mm. But at the top, you can install up to 3 120 or 340mm fans, or crucially, up to a 360mm radiator, which is an improvement over the original Pop. At the rear, there's a 120mm fan mount, but no fan comes pre-installed. There is also a vent on top of the power supply shroud there. Potentially you could put a 120mm fan there, but once you get the power supply installed, it's right up to this vent, so there would be no point in doing that at all. Any airflow would be blocked off. I guess that vent's there just in case you want to run your power supply with the fan facing upwards, and it will give a vent there to the power supply fan. Other features of the case around this side, so you've got space for CPU air coolers up to 170mm tall, so any CPU air cooler up to 170mm will fit in there. Maximum graphics card length is up to 416mm long, so that should support just about any consumer graphics card currently available. Also in this side, in terms of cable management, 2 cutouts on the power supply shroud, 2 larger cutouts down the side of the motherboard tray, and then a slot cutout at the top. In terms of motherboard support, it supports up to ATX, no eATX support, so you can install either ATX, micro ATX, or mini ITX motherboards. Crucially though, there's no back connect support, so there's no cutouts for back connect motherboards, which is a shame. In a case launched during 2026, it's a feature I would have liked to have seen included. Fractal could have quite easily put cutouts in there, but I suspect the width of the case and the space at the back of the motherboard tray there is not deep enough for back connect, so I guess that's the reason why back connect isn't supported. A quick look at the rear of the case, 120mm fan mount there, rear cutout for the motherboard I/O, 7 PCIe slots, does have a little plastic cover over there to cover the screws up. That installs tool free, it just clips in place, and it is pretty easy to clip in and out. 7 PCIe slots, as I said, and then right at the bottom is the power supply mount. The power supply installs from the side and then screwed into the rear, and below that you can see there is a dust filter, so it's a nylon dust filter on a plastic frame, and it slots in and out really simple. Then around the right hand side, as you can see, the motherboard tray is quite close to the side panel where the actual motherboard is, but then there's a recess towards the front here for cable management. You've probably got about 25 to 30mm of depth here for cable management. There's a couple of Velcro straps there. I think there's enough space there to manage the majority of the bigger cables and the front panel cables. There's plenty of eyelets scattered around also, so you might want to run the EPS power up this way. A couple of eyelets there to use zip ties to tie that down. You can see all the cutouts around the back of the motherboard tray also. Where the front panel cables connect up here, there is actually an RGB hub with just a single port on it there. The fans that come with it, RGB connects with little daisy chain tails here, so you can link all the fans together, and then potentially could connect it up to that ARGB connection there and control the lighting with the panels on the top of the case. If you don't want to connect it up to that, you could connect to the motherboard header, because it is just a standard 3-pin 5V ARGB connection. So you've got options there in terms of the RGB. Storage support is all around this side also. Here you have 2 2.5-inch drive bays, and the drives just clip in place on here. It's quite a good design, this, I like it. They just, you could say they just pop in place there. So you can install 2 2.5-inch drives there. There's also another drive bay on the floor of the case. A thumb screw holds it to the floor. It can be removed, you could discard this completely. But on here, you can install either a 3.5-inch drive or 2.5-inch drive on there. So potentially you can install either 3 2.5-inch drives or 2 2.5s and a 3.5. Power supply support is regular ATX power supplies. Officially in the specifications it says up to 180mm of space for the power supply there, but if you remove this there's more space, so I think you could get a larger power supply in there if you need, and plenty of space still to hide cables. Quickly look at the bottom of the case. There's 4 plastic feet that raise it up about 25 to 30mm, plastic feet with anti-vibration rubber pads. Then the majority of the floor is flat and solid, except obviously at the back you have the vent there for the power supply fan.
Both what lies beyond. Raw power, engineered for dominance. Every system pushed beyond limits. Whether you need a custom build or one ready for launch tomorrow, CyberPower PC powers your next conquest. So don't wait, conquer the cosmos.
In terms of accessories included with the case, you get the Pop 2 Air user guide. As always with Fractal cases, this is a very detailed, informative and easy to follow user guide. Because it's quite a basic case, you get basic accessories. So you get this plastic bag with just some insulation screws, some rubber anti-vibration mounts for the hard drives there, and also a few zip ties. So that's the main features of the case. There will be a written review page over at kitguru.net with a little more information, specifications, and you'll also be able to see the full testing methodology over there. So make sure you head over there and check that out. Now let's look at the thermal performance and noise. Under load, the Pop 2 Air shows very consistent noise output across configurations, measuring 42 decibels with the side panel removed in the default layout and with an added rear exhaust fan. Removing the GPU air guide results in a marginal increase to 43 decibels, suggesting it provides a small benefit in controlling airflow under load with slightly lower fan speed. At idle, all configurations sit at 35 decibels, indicating stable fan behavior and no additional noise coming from airflow changes. CPU temperatures remain close across all test configurations, ranging from 59 to 62 degrees C over ambient under load. Removing the side panel produces the lowest CPU temperature at 59 degrees C, while the default layout and adding rear exhaust both sit at 1 to 3 degrees C higher, indicating the stock airflow path is already optimized. GPU temperatures show minor variation, with the default configuration achieving the lowest result at 64 degrees C over ambient. Removing the GPU air guide results in the highest GPU temperature at 66 degrees C, showing its effectiveness in directing airflow towards the graphics card with minimal impact on CPU cooling. So there's no real issues in terms of the noise and thermal performance. The included fans are very low noise, and you can adjust the fan curve a little to your acoustic preferences. Thermal performance also is very good for quite a compact ATX case. The mesh at the front, the GPU air guide seems to be working well, and the overall airflow path seems to be well optimized. In terms of the installation process, it's really easy to install inside this case, but you do have to follow an order. So you need to make sure that you install the AIO after you've connected up all the connections on top of the motherboard, because there's very little space up there once a radiator and fans is installed. Also, you've got to watch out for RAM clearance. You've got about 45 millimeters maximum of RAM clearance. Any more than that and you may encounter some issues with interference between the top mounted radiator and fans and RAM. The G-Skill Trident Z5 RGB RAM that I've got installed in there is perfect, but anything bigger like maybe Corsair Dominator Titanium or something like that, you may struggle with clearance, so something to watch out for. But overall, it's a really easy installation process. Everything lines up great. Cable management, there's plenty of space around that indented cutout area at the back of the motherboard, and you've got plenty of cutouts for passing cables through, so no real issues at all with installation. Overall, it's not a bad case, but I'm still on the fence about whether I like it or not, because you are losing some features compared to the original Pop, like the 5¼ inch drive bay, those bold and bright colours. There's no back connect motherboard support either, which, as I've said a couple of times already, I'd expect that in a new case launching throughout this year. I do imagine that is down to the dimensions of the case and there not being enough space at that right hand side. The included fans are not PWM. In this price range, I'd have expected PWM fans. Other companies that offer a bit more value for money would have included PWM fans. It's quite a basic case also. There's no additional fan mounts or modular parts that come with it, and there's no modular parts that can really be swapped around. The fan brackets, particularly on the top, I would have liked to have seen those to be removable. It allows better access to the top of the motherboard, but they're fixed in position. There's no front radiator support either, but you do get that improved top radiator support. In the original Pop, you couldn't get a 360 in there. You can now with the Pop 2, and you still get the good build quality that you'd expect from Fractal. For the most part, when you remove this top dust filter, The mesh below that, the steel is quite thin. There's a lot of flex in that, so if you've not got a radiator or fans screwed in there, there's a lot of flex in that top panel. But for the most part, build quality is good, alignment of panels and everything like that's good. You can see the extra attention to detail with the coloured front panel cables, etc. So overall the build quality is good, but as I say, with those features missing, I'm still on the fence about whether I like this or whether I'd prefer the original. So let me know what you think of the Fractal Pop 2 in the YouTube comment section. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber of Kit Guru. If you enjoy what we do here at Kit Guru and you want to help support us, you can always head over to our store and pick up some of our merch, or you could subscribe to our Patreon. We're also on TikTok, and if you want to catch up on all the other in-depth technical reviews, head over to our website.